Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started with our program, and what a night we have. How about this crowd for the Hall of Fame banquet? A record crowd here tonight for these inductees. You know, tonight is one of the most special nights in TCU athletics history. Tonight is a culmination of years of practice and sweat and tears, of joy and pain, and ultimately success. Success now recognized by their peers, highlighted by their achievements, and honored here tonight by all of the TCU family. There is no greater achievement for a Horned Frog than entering this Hall of Fame. Tonight we have 34 frogs in the room that have come before you. Each of them are now your brothers and sisters. I'd ask all of those here who are already in the Hall of Fame, if you would, please stand to be recognized. That is a who's who of TCU athletics, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus Cannon, still standing. Good to see him. Love that, Marcus. Yes, making his way there. Angela Stanford is here. Saw her. Tom Hoagie, some of the greats. Royce Huffman Jr. He paid me to say that. Also with us tonight is a gentleman who watched many of you play and coach over the years. And he was your number one fan. Victor Boschini and his wife Megan are with us here tonight. And before Dr. Boschini took over, behind the scenes, a gentleman who really laid the foundation for the success that we've experienced now for 3 decades here at TCU. Dr. Bill Kaler is with us here tonight. Dr. Kaler, great to see you. As we kick off our evening tonight, I would like to welcome our new athletic director, Mike Buddy, to the stage to offer his own personal congratulations. Mike?
This is awesome. Thank you for all attending. Just because this is my first night, my first TCU Hall of Fame, biggest crowd ever. It's got to be because of me. That's a joke. Yep. So on behalf of Chancellor Pullen, who gave me this great opportunity, it is an honor to be here. This is my 4th institution. This night at every institution that I have been at is my favorite night because of the opportunity to celebrate excellence. And this is an elite group that these 8 incredible athletes and coaches will be a part of. As I look around this room, what stands out to me is the amount of teammates who are here to celebrate their teammates. The amount of coaches and former coaches that are here to celebrate their colleagues and their former athletes. And those coaches obviously teach these young men and women how to win, how to excel, how to work really hard to achieve the outcomes that they want, and that serves them extremely well throughout their lives. And it speaks to the true family environment that Chancellor Boschini and the culture that was developed here at TCU that Chancellor Pullen and I intend to continue. And when I was reading the bios of these 6 extraordinary athletes and these 2 coaches who poured over 60 years combined of their lives into impacting the lives of young men in this case, whether in the pool or on the gridiron, you just think about the exponential impact that they've had developing those young leaders of character who have gone on to make positive impacts in their community and beyond. It's what college athletics was supposed to be about, and it's what college athletics here at TCU continue to be about. So as the steward of this program, reading these bios, thinking, as an outsider, in 1995, since 1995 until now, we've been in 6 different conferences. TCU athletics as a whole is still young on the scene as a Power Four conference, and we intend to continue to elevate that bar. I stand on the shoulders of some great leaders in this athletics department. Chris Del County is here tonight. Chris, it says a lot that you made the effort to come up to here. As I understand it, there's a lot going on in Austin. I think they still have a football program and doing okay. So welcome back, Chris. So I just wanted to welcome you all. What a great evening. What a great spectacle as I look out. There's so much purple. It's an honor and a humbling opportunity to represent this great athletics department and this great university that's destined to do great things. Thank you for what you do for TCU, what you will do for TCU. Let's beat SMU. Go Frogs.
By the way, if you get the opportunity, Mike Buddy's wife, obviously Tracy, is here, but his parents are in town from Ohio just for this evening. You know, they're here just to see what the Hall of Fame at TCU looks like. We're honored to have them with us, so thank you very much for being here. The man who has served as the liaison between the inductees tonight, their families, and all of us in preparation for this is really our coordinator for the evening. If you would, please welcome from the Block T Association, Damian Myers. Damian?
Well, Brian, I'm not going to screw it up because I'm not going to be here that long. I just wanted to put a face with the name. Thank you all for being here. Like we said, this is a record crowd for a Hall of Fame event, and I am so excited for each and every one of you to be here. But again, this is not my night. I just wanted to say hello. Like I say, if you need anything after this, you can go to Joel Kramer. But no, again, just enjoy this evening. Right now, I'd like to introduce Chauncey Franks so you give us our invocation. Thank you very much.
Well, let us pray. Well, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this night of celebration, for the lives and legacy and the impact of those who have gave TCU their best. We honor them tonight, Lord, for the moments that they gave us, the wins, the joys, the victory, the sacrifice that helped make TCU what it is today. Lord, you made this university a place of excellence, of toughness and determination, a place that we may not always be the biggest, but we will never back down from a challenge. In fact, it reminds me of one of Coach Patterson's favorite songs by Tim Patty, "Words still ring true for all who bleed purple." Well, I won't back down. No, I won't back down. You can stand me at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. That's not just a lyric, Lord. That's a spirit. The same spirit that built this university and carries the honorees and will continue to carry this university forward to years to come. And so tonight, Lord, we honor their legacy. And we ask that every moment of tonight that they would take in and soak in and knowing that their legacy will forever be a part of TCU's history. And God, as we look to Saturday and welcome our guests across the river of SMU to TCU, let us treat them like unwanted guests for 3 hours. And let us love them like Jesus after it's over. Lord, bless tonight and bless everything about this evening. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Enjoy your meal.
Get started with our program while we're all here tonight. Before we do that, how about a round of applause for all of our staff who prepared that meal and served us here tonight. Thank you all. Terrific job. Terrific job. We've got a couple of head coaches that are here that I'd like to recognize, if you don't mind. Jamie Dixon, the head men's basketball coach, is here looking sharp. Where is Coach? Where is he? Stand up, Coach. Look at him. Doesn't he look dapper back there? Thank you, Coach Dixon. Good to see you. David Roditi's here, tennis coach. Lee Walker, our women's tennis coach, is here also. Thank you, Lee. Karen Monez is with us as well. Karen, saw her earlier. Kadivas Robinson. How about that? Where's Kadivas? He was here earlier, I know. Kirk Sarlos is here. Where's Kirk? Mark Campbell is here. Mark's going clubbing later on, I think. You're looking sharp, buddy. I like it. Thank you all for being here tonight. All right, we have waited long enough for this. It's our opportunity to get to meet our latest inductees into the Block T Hall of Fame here at TCU. The way the process is going to work, I'm going to introduce them. They're going to make their way. I never know if this is stage left or right, but that's fine. They're going to make their way there with Damian Myers, who's going to present them with their Letterman's jacket, their Block T jacket, and then we'll have a little Q&A on stage to learn more about how they got here and what their experience was like here in Fort Worth. All right? Without further ado, and I'm going to read out some of his superlatives after you applaud, our first inductee is Richard Sybesma. The longest tenured head coach for any sport at TCU. When he retired in 2017, he was at the helm for 38 years. How about that? He was in 5 different conferences spanning 5 decades as the head coach, and he's 46 years old. Horned Frogs won 7 conference team championships, 16 individual league titles under Sybesma. He produced 18 All-Americans, 4 Olympians, 5-time Conference Coach of the Year, and he taught 67% of the people in Tarrant County how to swim. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Sybesma. Have a seat, brother.
Okay, I'm going to do that swimsuit thing first.
Okay.
But don't count my minutes.
Before we get started, we knew that with Richard, it's never easy. It's never quite by the book. Just ask Mr. Del Conte. It's never quite by the book. But he does have a very special presentation tonight to a fellow inductee. Am I right about this, Richard? That microphone should be on.
Is this working?
It is working.
Actually, 3 of you.
3 of them. Okay.
Yes. Can I do it?
Do it. Let's go.
Mr. Buddy.
Mike Buddy, the athletic
Mike
director.
Buddy, come on up. You didn't, you better be ready. Coach Patterson, come on up. And
Pete?
Brian Estridge,
Oh, I didn't
come
know about
on
that.
up.
All right.
So, I got some buddies here that know I do this often. Mr. Buddy, Coach Winchester and I decided we need to do something special for you. His own swimsuit next summer. They can see him coming and going. All right? I know I have.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome. Hang on, we're going to get a picture now. Patterson, again.
Hey,
front?
you've already given me one of these about 20 years ago.
I've given you 3 of them.
I know.
And then the
And
back.
none of them fit.
The back. And then Mr. Estridge. Yes. Estridge, you have 2 or 3 of these, I know. I do. So, again, got the name on the front. And in case they're on a beach and they're walking away from you, you can tell who it is. Let's get a picture, guys. All right. Now,
Thank you,
Brian, while we're sitting down.
But you're on the clock, Richard, just so
I
you know. This is.
Yeah, I told you, please don't put me on the clock.
No, you're okay.
Okay, I'm on the clock.
Okay.
So, I got to do this. I got to do this at the very beginning. I want to introduce my beautiful wife, Wendy. I've got my family here, my 2 daughters, Courtney and Katie, my brother, Peter, and my grandkids. And it's fun to have them here sharing this evening with me. Also, special, real special, we have our 2012 Olympic swim coach, Greg Troy, and his wife, Kathleen. He is a Block T Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Also, 2 very important people in my life, Scott and Melissa Holman, who have started 2 swimming scholarships, one in their name and one in mine, and I'm so appreciative of you 2. Thank you so much. Lifelong friends. All right.
All right, that's Richard Sybesma. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me do
Have
that.
a seat, brother.
All right. I hope I can get up after I sit down.
It is. It's kind of been Hall of Fame year for you, has it not?
Very blessed. In April, I got inducted into the Texas State Swimming in High School, not high school, but State Swimming in Hall of Fame.
Yeah. How many people were there?
There were about 180, and 100 of them were Horned Frogs.
Exactly. You got to like that. Yes.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been asking people to buy tickets all year long,
I
then, is what you're
have.
telling me.
I have.
Yeah, it works.
Yes, sir.
When you got here, what was the first year you got here? Do you remember?
1979.
1979.
25 years old.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was president.
Yep.
How long did you think you would be here?
Well, not 38 years, that's
Right.
for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But what was it about TCU that made you want to stay?
The people. The people. And Fort Worth. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I know.
Fort Worth. I got it out. I knew I was going to say it. I needed to say it. I was over there at the table going shit. But I'm sorry, I didn't do it.
You know,
So,
Richard, we don't blame you.
Okay.
We blame
Okay.
Damien for the open bar. We don't
No,
blame you.
didn't do that. So.
But seriously, I mean, when you got here, obviously you're at the beginning of your career. You become a head coach at TCU. You end up staying and building a legacy here. Was that the vision? Was that the plan all along?
I knew that I wanted to coach. I knew that I loved TCU, and the rest kind of fell into place. TCU, when they hired me, we didn't have very many scholarships, not very many at all. And they said, if you come, we'll add scholarships. And they did, and that helped. Scholarship of the athlete's fuel. Nowadays it's NIL, but scholarships are really the athlete's fuel.
You had chances to leave, though, but you never did.
I did. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I did. I had the opportunities, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it did. Are there any particular years that stand out to you? Any particular teams that, any career highlights that stand out for you?
Oh, man, the best one. So, I'm going to call us, you guys all know the Darrell Royal days at Texas. They called TCU the cockroaches of college football. Darrell Royal called TCU that. Well, we were the cockroaches of college swimming because we would upset schools that had more scholarships, maybe had better facilities, maybe larger coaching staffs, but it's fun when you beat somebody. Yeah. That's what you do it for, isn't it? Yes. You're trying to upset that person that maybe has an edge. Yeah. So first year I was here, A&M went down to College Station. They put on the chalkboard, swim what you want to against TCU, and they left it on there. And they kicked our butts. Yeah. So I had a craw, is that what it's called? Craw in my gut? Is that what it's called? Something. Anyway, 10 years later when we beat them, that was huge for the program. Yeah. And so we've got athletes. Coach Winchester's doing one hell of a job, and his staff here. We would swim morning and afternoons, about 10 to 12 miles a day, 5:30 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Our divers, see that scoreboard? They would dive off the top of that, not here,
Right.
but that's what they trained doing.
Right.
Okay, so we weren't over there. We weren't over there just doing cannonballs and
Watermelons.
all that stuff. But with A&M, I don't care if it's football, coach. I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, or tiddlywinks.
Yep.
Tiddlywinks.
Yep.
If TCU beats A&M, it's important.
Yep.
And it was important to my team to beat A&M.
Yep.
It took us quite a while. We finally beat SMU, 40 years.
Right.
When that bully 30 miles away kicked sand in your face for 40 years, and you finally beat them 3 or 4 years in a row, that's so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So that was the two main messages I wanted to get across.
Who influenced you the most at TCU? I'm going to ask that of some of the student athletes, and they're going to lean on coaches and maybe professors. But even as a coach, were there people who influenced your career here, who had an effect on your career?
You know, every football coach here, Coach Patterson, all the coaches before him, they all treated me like I was one of their staff. I think for a swimming coach and CDC, you'll be able to answer this. I'm a little more hard-nosed, old school, but I learned from those guys speaking to groups, whether it's the Frog Club or whether it's alumni or whatever, or even sometimes in staff meetings. I learned something from F.A. Dry, from Wacker. I learned something from Franchione. I learned a lot from Gary Patterson and Pat Sullivan. Those guys influenced me because they took me under their wings and made the swimming coach feel like he was a part of their staff. That was cool. Yeah. So that to me, that's where I learned a lot of my information. And then also Coach Troy over here, Olympic coach. Yeah. I mean, he's a former Horned Frog. Right. That guy would give me all kinds of advice. And when they'd bring their team in this area, they'd swim us, kicked our butts. But, you know, when you swim a school that's top 10 in the country every year, that's big time. Yeah. That elevates your program because your athletes are racing against the best in the country.
I'm not going to allow you to list everyone because you know everyone, especially here on campus and in Fort Worth, because you've been an amazing ambassador for TCU. But if you had to thank a few, who would you think that have helped you in your career over the years?
You mean at TCU?
Or anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, Walter Souza, he's a Nicaragua Olympian, asked me in 1996 would I go to the Olympics as his coach. Yeah. That marching on ceremonies, right. Lived in the Olympic Village, and he was one of our athletes. Yeah. Got to do the 2002 Olympic torch relay through the campus. And there was a swimmer named Matt Walters, passed away. His wife worked on the torch relay. I picked up the phone one day and she says, "Hey, will you run through the TCU campus with the Olympic torch?"
You?
Holy cow. Well, I kind of jogged.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. It was
there
only
any
3
walking?
blocks.
Okay.
David Finfrock was one of the
yes.
runners before me.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so, yeah, that's what those type of experiences were really great in my career. And I just want to thank all these TCU swimmers and divers that are here.
Yeah. Thank
you for selecting TCU because they selected TCU. We might have recruited them, but they selected TCU. We were a better program, and we were a better university because of those swimmers. And they were pretty darn good students,
I
too,
would
Brian.
say, yes, over the years,
Now,
you had some great ones.
I think you're right. I taught a lot of these people's kids to swim.
I know you did, yes.
I taught yours.
You
I
taught
taught
mine to swim.
Denton's. I taught the Halls. I taught
Everybody.
Patterson.
Oh, yeah.
CDC, I taught his kids.
Yeah.
The Holmans, you name it. Schlossnagel, I taught your kids.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people here that I love teaching swimming lessons
Yeah.
too. So that's that was the fun part of the job.
What did you charge Del Conte to teach his kids how to swim?
What did I charge? For 2 weeks, $180.
Is that all? He could afford more.
Huh?
He could have afforded more. Yeah. Hey, finally, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
What does this place mean to you? If somebody says Richard Sybesma, TCU means what to you? What does it mean?
Well, this. Being in the Hall of Fame, professional accomplishment in my career, how do you beat that? At TCU. Now, I like using the phrase bleed purple. I wanted to start a thing, spit blood, shaking people's hands. I wanted tonight to bring a little vial of blood, purple blood, and let you cut me open on my wrist, and then or wherever, and then have blood spurting up all over the place. Well, so the TCU, I guess I like being called a freaking horn frog.
Yes.
Horn frog. That's, guys, if you've gone to school here or not, it's great to be a horn frog. And also, the city of Fort Worth supports TCU so well, and the city of Fort Worth was great at redoing that Forest Park pool to make it available to the citizens, and our swim team trains there some too.
Purple through and through. Ladies and gentlemen, our latest inductee, Richard Sybesma.
Thank you.
Did I do it? That was awesome. Love you, brother.
Go Frogs!
Thank you. We'll leave it right there. From just up the road in North Richland Hills, a product of Birdville High School, Whitney Gipson, Bright. Whitney. She's going to get the jacket afterwards? Okay, going to get the jacket afterwards. I love it. Come on up here. Yes. Love it. Whitney, come on. Oh, you're going to get it now? Okay. Okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you that Whitney, of course, was the 2012 indoor and outdoor NCAA long jump champion. Twice in 1 year. Still holds the school record at TCU in the indoor and outdoor. Come on up, Whitney. She earned 6 All-America honors as a long jumper. Also earned an All-America nod as a member of the 2012 4x100 relay team here at TCU. Whitney, come on. How are you? Good to see you.
Thank you, Brian.
Good to see you. Yes. I want to start with that 4x100 team because I don't know that people remember that about you and your career.
Yes.
Did that start your freshman year?
It started my freshman year, but when coming to TCU, Coach Daryl Anderson is like, you can't just be a jumper. You have to run, and our team was so little to where we didn't have the most scholarships at the state school, like at A&M or LSU and whatnot. So most of us did multiple events. So yes, I was a runner, 4x1, 200 as well.
So your freshman year, you walked into a room of some pretty good athletes.
Yes.
How'd they treat you?
Yeah, so knowing the history of TCU track and field, just the legacy left and a lot of Olympians and whatnot, I was on the 4x1 team, and, I'm coming in, kind of maybe had that freshman 15, had egg, sausage, all the stuff before meat and whatnot. And I remember the seniors, I was a freshman, mind you, they pushed my plate out and was like, no, you're eating fruit today. You're on our team. We're going to win. So I had fruit plates and all this kind of stuff, and, we're part of an elite team, and so it's just got to do what we got to do to win. So, yeah.
I talked to Coach Anderson today. He was in a hotel room in Japan.
Okay.
Yes,
well.
it was. I called him earlier, and it was 11:40 at night. But that was the one time I could talk to him, and we had a great visit. And he talked about recruiting you, and he talked about your mom and your dad, and he said, "I think I knew right away she was coming to TCU." But you were being recruited by a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Talk about that process and what it was like.
Yeah, thank you. Great question, Ryan. So I was a basketball player. just a basketball player, and I got recruited heavily for that as well. But then track and field, I started making state in Texas, so huge platform there my freshman year. And I was like, this is something I could do. And so I remember being heavily recruited by many, many schools, and it kind of came down to LSU and TCU. And I hate to say this, I love purple, so I'm like, okay, let me get a purple school. But also, too, broadcast journalism. I wanted to be a sideline reporting at the time, and TCU had a great program under Bob Schieffer, the School of Communications here. So that was a winning ticket there. But then I think what drew me to TCU, when Coach said, you're going to be the face of the program, and I'm like, no way, whatever. And I'm like, okay. This is me. I want to be the face of the program, and I think putting in the hard work and whatnot led me to that towards going to my senior year. So that was a huge influential time of why I chose TCU.
You talked in a video that I watched recently about how a day in Idaho sort of changed everything. Is that right?
It did. It did.
Not many people say that.
Uh-huh.
That a day in Idaho changed your life for the better.
Yeah, you did your research, right? Yes, it did. It was NCAA, so I'll kind of back into that a little bit. My junior year, it was summer junior year, I remember Coach Anderson, Coach Nick Peterson, who's now at University of Florida. They came to me and was like, Whit, this is your final year, and it's like you got it, or it's time to kind of, look what's a career, go on with my broadcast journalism degree and whatnot. And I was like, oh, I don't want to work just yet, So I remember, the opportunity to go to the summers and the holidays and stuff and training. I gave it my all, really sacrificed so many different things. So fast forward, I want to say March of 2012. I went in there, did a lot of great training. I felt great. And so, had a couple jumps down the runway. For y'all that do not know, long jump, you have 3 in the prelims, and then the top 8 qualify to the final round. And so I was able to afford the final round there. And on my 5th jump, at the time, I broke the NCAA record, and I won a national championship. So it was a really cool opportunity.
Did Nike hire you on the spot?
They wanted to, but back then when compliance and stuff, you gotta, if I wanted the outdoor season, yes. But they wanted to. And so that was a really cool opportunity. But I did sign with them after my last jump at the outdoor meet in 2012. So got afforded a 4-year contract with Nike, traveled the world. That year, missed the Olympic team by 2 inches. The longest jump to not ever make an Olympic team. So any year that jump would have made the Olympic team. So it was heartbreaking, but it was just, I just loved the sport and kept on going.
By the way, your record stood for a while too in the NCAA, didn't it?
It stood for a while, but I don't know if you know Tara Woodall Davis, University of Texas, Mr. DeConti. She broke it, but well deserved. She just won Worlds out in Tokyo just now, so just well deserved, but yes.
Talk to us a little bit about post-athletic career. Because I'm fascinated by what you're doing right now. By the way, I'd hire you as a sideline reporter today. You're awesome. But talk us through what you're doing right now professionally. Yeah.
So after competing on the world stage for 4 years, I went to. It was time for me to get a job. Right. My career was going. I need to start retirement, thinking of that, all that kind of stuff. Time to put my big girl pants on. But went into corporate America, did internal communications for a little bit. But I felt like sales was my go-to. So right now I work for Beanbo Bakeries USA, marketing and sales, do a lot of the innovation, getting our new products on Target, Walmart, Kroger shelves, to be able to sell to consumers that eat bread. So Eat Bread, Intimate, Sara Lee, Thomas's. So.
All the good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Who was the most influential person at TCU for you?
A lot of people. I want to start with my professors. I would say probably Aaron Chimble, if you're here. I think he's in New York professing. But also Reginald Hardwick. He's NBC5, a producer at the time. Yep. So he was he helped me a lot with my journalism, and a lot of the stories, my beat that I had was environmental. They wouldn't give me sports, so I'm like, environmental. But it pushed me to really go out there and meet people about the community. I can talk to Fort Worth community. Did a lot of stories around the Fort Worth Water District and things like that while training. But I would say him, of course, my coaches, Daryl Anderson, Nick Peterson. Nick Peterson, kudos to him. He was a student of the sport, very technical, the science of it, not so much the art and the look good, but he actually delved into the technicality of long jump, but also to just my running form and whatnot. So him, and then Coach Petersmeyer that recruited me here before he left. So I owe to all of them. They've been great.
Awesome. Yes. All right, finally, I'm going to leave you with this. Those three letters, when you hear them, TCU.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
I think of royalty, family. It's just the people I've met along the way still, new people I'm meeting, volunteer at the Neely School of Business, yes. And just meeting so many different people, but I just feel a sense of family, a community. We're lean but big, very on that national stage, so I just say royalty and family kind of aspect of what I think about TCU.
When I think of Whitney Gipson, I think rock star, ladies and gentlemen. She is unbelievable.
Thank you, thank
Our
you.
newest inductee,
thank you.
Whitney Gipson Bright.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Take it up.
Thank you. Wave at him. If you would, please welcome Charles Silman to the stage. Charles, come on up. This guy could fly. This is going to be fun. How are you, man? Good to see you. 2014, right? 13, 14, yeah. Grab that microphone. So as fast as you were and as good as you were, somebody told me you hated to warm up. Is that true?
Yeah, honestly, I really hated to actually run. I was actually a really good competitor. So it was, if I didn't have to do 100 meters or 200 meters, I didn't want to run nothing further than that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were a track and field star who hated to run.
Yes.
All right, so before practice, I want you to walk us through, because normally you guys would have to run a couple of laps, right?
Okay, I can walk you through it.
Yeah.
I already know the story that you're going to tell.
Okay, so you guys would have to run a couple of laps and then go through the stretch process. I've seen you guys go through this. This was Darrell Anderson's deal. This was Coach Anderson's deal.
Yep.
Everybody's got to run two laps, right?
Yes, sir. That's
Everybody except
Charles.
Well, what did you do, Charles?
Well, I ran. I didn't run 2 laps.
Right.
I ran a lap and a half.
Okay.
Towards the end, I would go to the bathroom.
Every day.
Every single day.
Every day there'd be, where's Charles? He's in the bathroom.
I feel like that was my ritual.
Yeah.
I feel like I needed to use the bathroom to actually do good. So.
Yeah. Is there one day, one event, one moment that stands out to you in your career here?
Yes, 2013, the NCAA championships in the 100 meters. We worked. I worked for a while. It's probably the most difficult race I ever had. Yeah. For the simple fact that everybody was fast, everybody knew what to do, and everybody made it to that point. And I made it every year, but I never was able to make it to be ready to compete the best in the finals until my senior year. And, Coach Anderson and, Coach Greg. Can you stand
Greg
up
Shoulders.
for me right quick?
We're going to talk about Greg Shoulders.
Yeah, Coach Greg,
yes.
It's all about confidence. And at that time, with me being young, you just, sometimes a boost of confidence is all you need, that little voice in your ear, and just take it back to the old ways of me doing the things that I do. And I came out with the victory, but I was very blessed on that. It was hard work. People don't know that I tore both of my ACLs before I got here to TCU. Yep. I was originally I wanted to be a football player. That was my dream. And luckily, I just ended up here at TCU to run track. Yeah.
Before you tell everybody what you ran that 100 meters in, I will tell you that I heard Coach Patterson over the years when he was recruiting players, DBs and wide receivers. I know you tried to recruit him. 10-2, 10-3, those were really fast guys, right? What did you run that 40 in to win the championship?
989.
Oh, excuse me, the 100. 989.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't the 100. I should have said 100, not 40. 9.89. Now, did everyone, I think I read this, did everyone in that race run under 10?
4 people ran under 10. At that time, it was the most in the NCAA history that was the fastest race at that time.
Right.
So,
You were the fastest guy in college that day.
yes, sir, I think so.
I'd say you were. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Was there anything that you remember from Coach Anderson, and you mentioned Greg Schollers, who had a real big part of your recruiting process, that stands out to this day that you still remember from them that you use every day in life?
Just, I have a story from Coach Anderson before I actually decided to come to TCU. We were sitting at a round table. I was doing my homework. It was before a football game.
Right. By the way, you grew up in Waco, right?
Yes, sir. Waco,
grew up in
Texas.
Waco.
Yeah, and he called. He just called out the blue, doing the normal recruiting. And he was like, what you have planned? I was like, I have a football game tomorrow. And he was like, man, I think you should quit because you're going to be the fastest guy in college. And I was like, I think I'm going to play football too because I'm really good at that. I actually think I'm better at track. And we went back and forth. Nah, I think you're actually better at track. And so from that point forward, I actually paid attention and wanted to do my best. So, and then with Coach Greg, on the other hand, my freshman year, I wasn't doing right as a student, Everybody freshman year, everybody went to college, so y'all know how it is freshman year. Yeah. You got to get your living out the way. So I was actually skipping class one day, and Coach Anderson called Coach Greg, and Coach Greg knew me as a kid and stuff. So I was sitting in my room listening to music. I had a sweet mate, Sky Dawson. He played football here as well. And, I get a knock on the door. So normally when I see him, it's a good time. I always, hey, ha, ha, he, he. So he knock on the door. He stepped in, look in the room. He see I had company. And he saw, when he do that, I'm like, what's going on, He was like, hey, man, what you up here for? I'm like, I'm up here to run track. He was like, nah, you're not up here to run track. He said, everybody fast. He's like, so what you up here for again? I'm up here to run track. He was like, so at the end of the semester, what, you think you're going to be able to run track? And I was like, yeah, I think so. He was like, nah, not the way your grades are. He said, man, you up here to run track. You up here to go to school, not to run track and field. He said, you up here because you're smart, not because you're fast. And from that day forward, I picked my book bag up and I went to class.
You were in that weird time, too, where we transitioned from the Mountain West to the Big 12. Tell me about that difference as far as track and field was concerned, because you had success in both.
Honestly, the Mountain West was more so, I hated to travel.
Yeah.
It was so, most of the time the conference was Colorado, up
the
there,
altitude, too,
altitude,
right?
cold sometimes, Air Force. But the Big 12, competition was a lot better. Mm-hmm. So in the Mountain West, it was much better competition, but the scenery and the looks that you get by competing against other guys as the Big 12, Big 12 is really big in track and field. So I feel like when we made it to that point, we made it to a different conference, I knew I would get a bigger shot. And I knew I would run faster because, as they say, you go with good competition, you're going to exceed. So either do that or you go lower. So I didn't go down, luckily. Yeah. Thank God on that. So
love that. Tell me tell folks what you're doing right now. What's Charles up to these days?
I work insurance, work from home. Sports, it really killed me mentally. To make it, I feel like to make it as a professional athlete, you have to put your all into it. Yeah. It was one thing that I had to just focus on, and I really couldn't venture off. So I wanted to get away from sports for a little bit, to clear my mind and just try to get back into it. I know I can work really good with kids and coaching and things like that. I think track, me going professional, I think I'm smart enough to do it, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Tell me this: what does this place mean to you, and being into the Hall of Fame, being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Legacy. You see that paper, all them names on there? Those are very important names, and they made a name for themselves, not just in TCU, but outside of TCU. So I just look at it as a legacy, a family, something that I would never give up. I can tell you that. I feel like this was the best choice I ever made in my life.
Charles Silman, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, man. Great job, man. Leave that microphone over there. Come on up, Glenn. Glenn has waited a while for this. Yes, he did. He was a two-time All-American. Well, that jacket looks good on you, man. Looks good. How are you, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Grab that microphone. Two-time All-American in the first leg in both 75 and 76 in the 400-meter relay teams. That team in 75 was the first one to win a Southwest Conference title, I think, wasn't it?
Yes.
You guys were loaded.
Oh, yeah.
That team was loaded.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you walked out there the first time and they said, by the way, you're going to run the first leg of it, what were you thinking?
I was glad to be on the relay team.
Yep.
For one.
Yeah.
Because I got on, we had another guy, Lorenzo Ashford. He became injured, and I took his spot, and from there on, it's history.
It was yours. It was yours.
Indeed.
I want you to tell folks how you got here to TCU, because that's a fascinating story. How'd you arrive here?
I got here, I got two gentlemen. That brought me here. I transferred here from a school in Washington State, and after we graduated high school, we wanted to stay together. So two of our guys, they went to the University of Houston. One of them is here tonight, who is my childhood buddy. Yep. And these two guys, Otis Jordan, stand up over right quick, and Rick Flanagan. We played football at it was junior college, right. Spokane Falls. And man, I tell you, when we left home, we were three mama's boys. We was we were so homesick. I think we cried every day. And I think Otis, he's the biggest of us all. He cried more than all of us. But I mean, every time we spoke to our families, man, it was tough. So actually, I'm so glad that those two guys put aside what they were going to do, and they came to school here with me to Spokane.
You knew you were coming back to Texas, though.
Oh, yeah, it was cold up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I ran in a track meet, we had snow on the ground. It was in May.
Yeah.
So now it was time for me to come home.
You were coming home.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. What was it about TCU that stood out for you? Why TCU?
Well, it was Otis's idea because he's we played football.
And he was the biggest one.
Yeah, he's the biggest one. And since they decided they want to come here, we were like, man, since we want to go home, let's go to TCU. Looks like they need some help on the football team. But so I didn't know much about the track team at the time, and we came here because the three of us we ended up in the Hall of Fame as football Hall of Fame there, and I came to play football. But once I got here, I'm like, man, I think I'm going to concentrate on track, and that's what I did.
So you get here, was it everything you wanted it to be once you got here?
Man, I tell you, as soon as we drove onto the campus, Rick and I looked at each other and we said, man, this is home. Yeah. This is home. It just felt like home.
Was there one event or one meet or anything that stands out in your mind that you want to share?
Oh yeah, that was the Southwest Conference Championships, and we knew that TCU had never won one. So myself, Philip Delancey, he's here tonight, Bill Collins, Sam McKinney, which may he rest in peace. He was on our team. Man, I tell you, we were hyped. And I tell you, once I got out of those blocks, man, I didn't see anything but Sam. And I just tore out of there like a bat out of hell, out of those blocks. So, and we came around, and then we won it. Yep. We went to the Nationals, and we ended up fourth place. So we were always ranked number 1 through 5 that year, our relay team. So we were pretty good.
Where were the nationals that year? Do you remember?
Utah. Provo.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So you had to go back to the.
Yes.
You had to go back west for that.
Yeah.
When you think about TCU today, what do you think? When people ask you, hey, where did you go to school and what did it mean to you?
I'm proud of where I went to school. Yeah. And one of the reasons is because of that man there.
Yeah.
Coach Patterson. What his teams did here at this school, man, he put us on the map. Mm-hmm. Coach, you put us on the map, Doc. Yep. And so, you know, that made a whole lot of people at TCU hold their heads up high. Sure. And he brought some respect to this university. Yeah. And, man, I'm enjoying every bit of it.
When you watched his teams, you realized they didn't need any help, right?
Oh, man. He had some stallions, so yeah. They were great.
Hey, did you ever doubt that you would get this call?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, shit, man, I'm 70 years old. Shit, hey, I'm sitting back.
And apparently, when you turn 70, you can say whatever you want, right, Richard?
Well, you know, hey, come on.
Yeah, I know.
When I got the call, I mean, I had actually got very discouraged. And my buddy Rick kept saying, oh, man, you belong here. You belong in this. Which I knew I did, but I got discouraged. And I'm like, so when I got the call, Jill called me. She said I was in. And I'm like, wow, damn. Well, no, I know how Drew Pearson felt. Yeah, believe me. Yeah. But, man, I tell you, let me tell you one thing. Another reason I sort of gave up. 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer. So I wasn't sure if I'd ever get here. And now that I'm here, man, this is, I tell you, this is everything. You know, I'm here to get my flowers now where I can see them. So I appreciate that. Yeah.
I can't tell if it's the lighting or if those boots are purple. Are they black or purple?
No, they're black.
Okay, because if they were purple, I was about to point them out for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest inductee into the Block T Hall of Fame, Glen Norris Jr.
Thank you.
This guy's a 4-time All-American, was a freshman All-American. The only TCU pitcher to throw 400-plus innings in a career. Number 1 all-time, career games. How are you, man? Grab that microphone. You just want me to leave and you take it from here?
Everyone that knows me knows I hate this shit.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's awful.
And you're not 70, but you can say it, I guess. Oh, you're going to be good, man. This is fun. Hey, congratulations.
It's such an honor. I cannot believe I'm here.
You are on the different extreme as Glen, who had to wait for the call. Did you have any idea you would get the call this early?
No. I got the call from Matt Perk.
Yeah.
And I was like, is something wrong? Like, why is he calling me at this hour? I was so confused, but he kind of led me on a little bit, so that was not fun. But he gave me the good news, and so it was so special.
I want to start at the beginning on the process that led you from North Carolina to arrive here in Fort Worth. It wasn't necessarily planned. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, it was almost by happenstance.
Yeah.
There was a big tournament in Atlanta after junior year. Most guys are committed at that point. I didn't really have much recruiting to speak of. I just happened to pitch against 2 different Texas teams. Coach Mazey was at the first game. I pitched pretty well. And then Coach Schloss and Coach Mazey were at that second game. I guess they liked it okay, so they let my travel ball coach know that they wanted to keep in touch. And by keep in touch, that really meant just me emailing them every week my stats to Crickets. So I kept at it. So they brought me down for a camp, and I just remember just hearing a lot of pings. There's a lot of hard contact in that scrimmage. So I was just lucky to get a spot in the fall. So yeah.
Just so folks know, you were a recruited walk-on, right?
Recruited walk-on in the fall, yeah.
Yeah, a walk-on and a 4-year starter, the most career starts in TCU history. Yeah. When it started, though, freshman year, think back, first 3 weeks, when were you in the lineup? When would you see time? Do you remember?
I believe I pitched the first game. I think I came in the 6th inning, bases loaded, 2 out. And I proceeded to go 3-0 to the first guy I faced and looked in the dugout. Maisie just looking at me a little bit. I figured I should probably throw a couple strikes. So ended up striking that guy out, finished the game and got my first win. And that was the first time I kind of slowed down and I was like, I can do this. Yeah. Before I was kind of like, I want to make the team. And then I want to contribute. But then it was Ole Miss that weekend, and so I was like, I can do this.
The story, one of the stories I heard was that there was a stretch there early on in your career where they were only playing you when they were down. That they would bring you in when things weren't looking too good, like you just said. Okay, let's throw Preston out there and see how he does. And then one day, Schlossnagel, who is the guilty party in doing that, walked in to the other coaches and said, "Who's the idiot that's only pitching our good pitcher when we're down?" And then they realized maybe we should pitch him when we need him the most. So, but that was your freshman year. I mean, did you have any idea you were going to make that kind of impact?
No. I mean, like I said, in the fall, I was just trying to make the team.
Yeah.
Workouts were hell for me. I mean, Coach, I don't know if you know this, but I was throwing up after every single workout. That was the hardest thing for me to ever do. So I wanted to contribute in the fall and make the team, and I just slowly started building confidence as I got more appearances under my belt and just felt a little bit more comfortable every time.
We mentioned earlier you came from North Carolina to TCU. Did you know anything about TCU at all?
Zero.
I'm
pretty sure when I told some other guys that I was going to TCU, they're like, "Is that like Tennessee Central? Like,
right.
What is that?"
Right.
But it really helped. 2010 Rose Bowl really helped with the notoriety out there. So, but this place made me grow up. I mean, I'm naturally a very socially reactive person. I'm not, kind of come up here and talk your ear off, but it made me grow up. Being so far from home, I didn't know a single person here. So I had to kind of grow up and get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Here's the good news. Tell everyone where you live today.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas. When you look back on it, it's obviously an amazing start. When you think about those 3 letters, TCU, what do they mean to you today?
I mean, it's a very special place. I feel a connection to just about anybody that has purple on.
Yeah.
It's definitely where I grew up. And honestly, the most lasting part of it is meeting my wife. So I didn't think you'd make me cry here, but she has given me the most special life, 2 amazing kids.
Yeah.
There's nothing I would trade for her, nothing.
Preston, you're going in the Hall of Fame with guys like Glen, Matt Carpenter, Gary Patterson, Jason Verrett, Whitney, Richard. I mean, think about the names that you're going in with. Did you ever think this day would be here?
No. If you know me, I can't help myself, and I will look at the baseball blogs. Do you remember Fungo Frog? He ranked all the incoming class, and guess who was at the bottom?
Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a fire, but not really. But it's just so special to be here, getting to meet some of the guys earlier. It's such a great class, and I'm so honored. Thank you to the Block T and TCU for giving me this huge honor.
You may have started at the bottom, but today you're at the top, man. Preston Morrison, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Great job, dude. Great job. Put that microphone on the chair. Someone asked me at the table earlier, they said, hey, who are you most excited to talk to? And I gave them two names. I'm not going to tell you who that was, but I think I want to change my vote now after talking to these, because these inductees have been tremendous. I can't wait to visit with this next guy. If you would, please welcome Jason Verrett. Two-time All-American, three-time All-Conference player. Had his little guy help him with the jacket here. Terrific NFL career. How are you, man? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. No. Yes, sir. Grab that microphone. I'm not going to put Coach Patterson on the spot, but I will tell you that I did a little quick poll of about 6 DBs who all had good careers here at TCU. And I just asked them, I said, who's the best defensive back to ever play at TCU? Harold McElroy voted for himself, but the other 5 all said Jason Verrett, the best defensive back to ever play here. Today, you get honored with going into the Block T Hall of Fame. What does that mean to you, man?
Oh, man, it means everything. You know, coming from the Bay Area, JUCO kid, not having any scholarships out of high school, being able to have Chad Glasgow come out to my JUCO and recruit me, and, you know, come to TCU and be legendary.
When you, when Coach Glasgow shows up and says, hey, I want you to come check out TCU, what were you thinking? What did you know about TCU at the time?
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
They had just won the Rose Bowl. That was like the only thing that I knew. But, you know, coming from JUCO and obviously having a scholarship offer, you know, you're going to want to go anywhere in the country.
And that was it, right? I mean, the big thing was you had an offer. And that stood out to you, right? Absolutely. And they were on you early. And that loyalty meant a little something, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a spring transfer. You know, being able to have my family up there and sit down with Coach P, and Coach P tells me about all the great things I'll be able to do here. So fast forward, we're here now. We've talked to these new inductees about some of the great things that happened in their careers and how it propelled them to where they are today. Can I talk to you about a tough thing? Absolutely.
That made you who you are? It was against Baylor. You remember that game?
Definitely.
After that game was over with, what was going through your mind?
I wanted to end playing football. You know, after that game, it was tough on me. That was my first time ever playing on national television. So being that I got bombed for 3 touchdowns against RG3, losing that game, not knowing what the rivalry between Baylor and TCU was like, coming back to TCU around campus and dealing with players saying go back to JUCO or, you know, all different type of crazy things. But fast forward, we played Air Force the second game of the season. And then going into Louisiana Monroe, we played them the third game. And I remember leaving my dorm. We were all walking down to the practice facility, and I turn around. And I go right back to my dorm. I stayed in the dorm. I had phone calls from my teammates, from coaches. I didn't answer the phone. They sent over a GA to come knock on my door. And they're like, Coach Pete want to see you. So I walked down, sit in his office, and the first thing he just told me was, you know, do you want to play football here? And I told him no. So he told me that he'll send me to D2. I wouldn't be able to go D1. And so he said, you got 2 choices. Either you can go D2 or you can stay here. So I told him I'll stay.
Are you glad you did?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever allowed yourself to think back to say, you know what, if I wouldn't have walked back out there, what today would be like for you? I mean, have you ever allowed yourself to think about that?
I had times where I have, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. Jason, you went on to have an amazing career here at TCU. As we mentioned, folks consider you for sure the best cover corner to ever play here, the best defensive, some say the best defensive player ever. You go into the NFL and you had some really highs and some lows as far as injuries, and you fought back every time. Every time from injury, you fought back. Did that day when you were walking out on the practice field before Louisiana Monroe, is that sort of laid the foundation for fighting back every time, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that game, you know, because I didn't start that game.
Right.
I got the opportunity to start the second half, made a play, and then the rest was history for that season, you know. And then going on my junior year, senior year, being able to be a two-time All-American, you know, I've always tipped my hat to Coach Patterson for always being there by my side and, you know, just teaching me all the things about life, you know. So I'll always tip my hat off to Coach P.
And then the phone call for the NFL draft. First round, San Diego Chargers. What'd that feel like?
Man, a phone call that you'll never forget. And it was definitely a special moment because I had Coach P there with me.
Yep.
I had my family with me as well, my parents who are here. I got my family that is over there.
Yep.
But I just want to quickly share a story that I felt is probably the most meaningful thing to me. So being that I was a 2014 draft pick, being able to go first round, being an early Pro Bowl selection in 2015, you know, I had a lot of high hopes and, you know, just really looking forward to where my career was going to take me on. But 2016 to 2019, 4 years straight, I had 4 season-ending surgeries. And so it put me in a difficult place. I battled, fought back hard to then play in 2020 and had a great comeback season. Thinking that everything was going to be behind me, and then fast forward, 4 more season-ending surgeries. And so it put me in a dark, dark place. You know, I was fortunate to have some people along my journey, some people that are here, some people that are at home that was in my corner. Chauncey Franks, who's here too, was in my corner. But I definitely want to recognize my mentor, my life coach, Dr. Herb Martin. He taught me 2 things, and it was the power of the now and the power of the moment. And you never really know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. And so that's something that he taught me. And then the second person I'd like to thank is my son, Deuce. And when I was going through a lot of my dark times back in 2018 when he was born in March 2018. And then that fall when we reported camp, I tore my Achilles. And when my son was born, I used to always talk to my son. You know, I would impute things into him, tell him being a man of understanding, you know, fight, never give up. And so when I ended up tearing my Achilles and went off to have surgery, when I got back from surgery, I wasn't in that same headspace. You know, it was really cloudy, it was really dark over me, and I didn't have the words that I normally would share with him. And I just remember talking to him, and, you know, I told him that Daddy wasn't going to be here. And I told him that I checked out. And it was tough, you know, because I'm crying. And I looked down, and my little boy's smiling. And so it put me in a space to never give up. And he taught me right then and there to be a man. And being a man is being able to be anything and everything at any given moment. And so I love my son dearly just because he played a key role in my life. And it's a motto that I live by. I am who I'm not, I'll never be. And what's for me won't miss me as long as I stay true to me. So
instead of checking out, tonight you're checking into the Block T Hall of Fame.
absolutely.
Tell me what that means and what TCU means to you.
It's a legacy, man. It's a legacy that I could continue. I could continue on with my son and for more kids to come too.
Yeah.
But everything, man, this school is everything. I mean, look, like you said, I'm in the Hall of Fame. I never would have thought that I would be here. I got so many people in here to thank. But yeah, man, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself for sure.
Coach Patterson, you got a second? Can you come up here? Jason, when's the last time you hugged that guy?
Right now.
There you go. Jason Verrett, ladies and gentlemen. Hall of Famer. Great job, man. You crushed it. Love you, brother. If you would, please welcome the latest addition to the Block T Hall of Fame, the legendary Matt Carpenter. Grab that microphone right there. Matt is a detailed, thorough, planner who texted me at 4:15 today and said, "What are the questions for tonight?" But you had to believe this day was going to happen. You've actually been sitting back for a few years knowing you had a spot here. To finally be able to be here in person and accept it, how does it feel tonight?
Man, it's incredible. This is such a thrill. I'm so humbled to be here with all these great honorees tonight, with all the past TCU legends who've had this opportunity. It's something that, I really hold dear to my heart. This place means so much to me for so many reasons. To have this evening come together like this, which, by the way, what an amazing event. Truly just spectacular from top to bottom. And just couldn't be more thrilled and excited.
You heard these stories that we've had so far. Preston, lucky to be here. Jason Verrett went through what he did, time after time after time. There was a point in your early career here at TCU where you hit a speed bump too, wasn't there?
For sure. Most of the people in this room probably know the story, but not a lot of people realize that I was a fifth-year senior. It took a while for me to become the player, really the student-athlete that, Coach Slosh recruited out of high school. And, there were some learning curves that had to happen both on and off the field, and, some areas that I needed to get better at. And, there was a real defining moment that happened for me in Coach Schlossnagel's office one day, my junior year. I just had Tommy John surgery. I had been an OK player to this point, but certainly not the player that he expected me to be. But more importantly, not the person, not the student athlete, not the guy that he thought I could be. And he saw something in me that at the time I don't know if I even saw myself. And I walked out of his office that day after a really hard conversation and made a decision that I was going to be the best version of myself on a day-to-day basis. So, that's really kind of where it all kind of took off. And I'm forever grateful for that moment because it was a huge moment in my life.
And it started that day, though, didn't it? When you walked out, you didn't say, "Hey, Monday, I'm going to be a different man."
It was literally that day.
That day.
I put the Whataburger down.
No more Cool Ranch Doritos with cheese.
Yeah. Started really, trying to become the best student I could be. Started getting after it in the weight room. I was a guy who loved baseball, but I didn't love all the things that required to be a great baseball player.
Yeah.
And anybody that does anything at a professional level, you realize the commitment that takes, and it's more than just field and ground balls or hitting in the batting cage. It's a full lifestyle, and there is a standard of excellence that is required if you want to be at the best. And to Coach Slosh's credit, that was the way he ran his program. And I'm forever grateful for being a part of that because it has had a drastic impact on me as a person, certainly as a baseball player, but as a husband, as a father. It is a testament to the coach that he is because I came to TCU a very young man and I left a grown man.
Was it fair to say that baseball was important when you were at the stadium?
Very important.
But
yeah.
when you left,
Not as important.
not as important.
Yeah.
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 Life, you were kind of enjoying life a little bit.
I had a great time at college. Yeah. I really enjoyed all the things, the TCU, tailgates, all the great things. I mean, I had a great time while I was here, but, I'll take a line from him. When I walked through the doors at, baseball practice, that guy, if he told me if I could just be that guy in everything I do, then good things will start to happen. And it was great advice.
And it worked out well. Yeah. When you were recruited, you were highly recruited, by the way, right? You could have gone a bunch of places. I know some of the schools that you could have gone to potentially. But
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is a safe place to have this conversation.
It is.
I wanted to go to Texas.
There it is. Okay.
I had my heart on it. That's where I wanted to go since I was a kid. Great.
And they wanted you.
They did, and I had an offer there, and so to me, the recruiting process was over in my mind. It was like, all right, there's the scholarship. This is where I want to go, and thankfully, great parents who, like all great parents do, give great advice. And hey, let's not rush to this decision. Let's pray through this. Let's go out and visit these schools. Make sure that we make the right decision. And Texas was the first one. And I went there, and I was like, man, this is where I want to go. I don't think there's any need to go anywhere else. And he was like, no, we're going to finish this out. So we went to Baylor. And then the last one was TCU. And I came to this place, and I felt something that I had never felt before. From the coaching staff to the people, the campus, the city of Fort Worth, everything about this place is so special, and I felt it right away. So my parents, we decided we're going to go home and we're going to make a list. We're going to put the 3 schools. We're going to make pros and cons for every single one of them. So I go home and I write down Baylor, and I'm going to come up with a whole laundry list of cons, on that deal.
I was going to say.
And
that didn't take long, did it?
Yeah. A handful of pros, and I go to Texas, and there's some pros and there's a few cons, and then I write down TCU, and it was a whole list of pros, and there was this one con that I just, as a 17-year-old kid who thought he was really cool, I just could not get over, and it was, I'm just not real sure about this purple, Flash forward 20 years, I don't think I own anything that's not purple.
Right. There was a line that one of the coaches told me that Coach Schlossnagle used on you in the recruiting process that they thought really made a difference to you. Do you happen to remember what that line was? You may not.
I do. I do. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, excuse me. What makes Coach Schlossnagle such a great coach? He's a great motivator. He's a great leader, but he knows how to speak to players. And the line he uses struck a chord with me. And for whatever reason, I had my heart set on Texas, and he said, hey, you want to go to Texas, and you can just be another team that goes home hard. You want to come to TCU and be the first. And man, struck a chord.
When somebody looks at you and says, do you want to be next or do you want to be first?
I love that.
You want to be first.
Yeah.
And you did. Let's shift gears real quickly. So you have Tommy John, position player. That's kind of odd. You were in practice in like 2007, right? And you knew it. Did you know it right away?
Yeah, I knew it right away. I mean, it just kind of went on me, and kind of tried to play through it.
You fought back. You come back. You have a really good junior year, right?
Yep.
But you didn't get drafted.
Didn't get drafted.
What were you thinking at that point?
Really not much. I was pretty realistic with where I was at that point in my career. I mean, I was a redshirt junior. I really hadn't, I'd never really had a conversation with a scout at this point. I hadn't really deserved it. I hadn't really played to the level of, what a professional baseball player should look like. And the 3 years prior, I didn't even look like a professional baseball player. There was nothing about,
the kind of shape I was in, the production that I was having. I mean, there was really nothing about it. And, after that meeting, I, changed really everything about my approach to the game of baseball and my approach to being a student athlete here at TCU, and started to see a lot of changes. And the coaching staff could see it, and, changed the way my appearance looked. I was in much better shape, and, started to have success on the field. But I think it took a while before that left just here in Fort Worth, where people had seen it. I think it took some time. So I wasn't really, shocked by that. And to be honest, we're in the super regional in Austin the very next year. It's my redshirt senior year, and we just, set the school record for wins at the time, which was an incredible achievement. Hosted a regional for the first time, won it, go to Austin. We're one game away from Omaha, and we end up getting beat. And I remember walking off that field, and I had, my parents were there. I'm sitting there having a conversation, and I was convinced that I had just played my last baseball game. But, ended up not being the case.
Yeah, so you're a fifth-year senior. You don't have a lot of leverage when it comes to the draft at that point, but you were taken in the 13th round. I looked this up. Wasn't it 13th round?
13th round.
I think I know what you signed for.
Yeah.
You want to tell everybody what you signed for?
It was $1,000, and after taxes, it was about $600.
Yeah.
And
we're happy to do it, right?
That's right. That's right. And I have, an amazing bride. Which, by the way, I have to get this out there. There's the two best decisions I've ever made in my life is asking my bride Mackenzie to marry me and then coming to TCU. By far. But after, I have $600, I'm a minor leaguer. I know the girl that I want to marry, and I can not afford the ring that I want to propose to her with. So I had to take out a loan to do that, and thankfully the career started to take off and was able to pay that back.
I'd say 3 All-Star appearances, terrific career, obviously, that people know about, the great run with the Cardinals. But it wasn't always roses, right? I mean, you had to battle back. Did you ever have Schlossnagel in your ear during all of that as well?
He's always been a great sounding board, from the time that he recruited me to present day. But, I look back on not just my time here, but throughout my whole career, it's the moments that were the most uncomfortable, the moments that were the toughest are the ones that I'm most proud of, because that's really where the growth happened. Anytime you go through struggles, both on and off the field, that perseverance, that grit to get through it, I mean, that's really what life is all about. And it started for me, there's no doubt in my mind that I would have never had the career that I had if I wouldn't have gone through what I had to go through here at TCU, and having a great staff and the support that they gave me throughout that time, and never giving up on me, keep pushing me, keep motivating me, keep striking that chord. So just very, very fortunate, very blessed.
Do you want to be next, or do you want to be first? Well, congratulations. You're standing in line now in the Block T Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Matt Carpenter. That was awesome. You did good. Leave that on the chair. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, please welcome to the stage, latest addition to the Block T Hall of Fame, Gary Patterson. This has been fun tonight, hasn't it? It's been amazing.
She said I need to have this. I'm gonna keep that close.
Just in case. How about these stories, Coach?
The cool thing for me, except for Mr. Norris, is every one of these athletes I coached here while I was here. And it's funny, first off, I have a story on all of them. Yeah. But in Jason's case, he came at 155 pounds. Right. So tell you about legacy. So Chad Glasgow recruited him, but a guy by the name of Lenny Wagner that I coached at a place called Sonoma State was the AD and head coach and he would not call us very often, but he would call us every once in a while. And he called us about Jason and said, you need to probably look at this guy because he's got something special. Now, he's going to be about 155 pounds, wringing wet, but he was a 3 for 3. It's funny about Matt Carpenter. So we see each other out at Shady Oaks playing golf. So we're having a conversation about all the things that we've done, right? And so the 2 or 3 things that we really agree on is that we loved the game on game day. We loved the players. We loved the coaches. We liked everything. But the one thing, and he had a 15-year career, Matt, in Major League Baseball. And, I say 25. I came here at 37 and ended at 62. And so, but we were talking about, and the one thing that neither one of us right now miss, and that was the physical and mental position you had to go through to be at the level you had to be. That it was, I tell people all the time, winning is not a sometimes thing. Right. And, a lot of people nowadays, when I talk to kids, a lot of them, it's like, well, 80% is perfect. No, 80% is not perfect. But every one of them here, Whitney, unbelievable. One of the things that happened here at TCU, because I was always in the weight room, I always got a chance to meet every one of these. Charles Silman, I mean, you name it, got a chance to watch them run, watch them practice, do all of it. And, if you can't tell that TCU hasn't made a difference and they hadn't made a difference in TCU, just not listening to them talk. I mean, as I told you earlier, I didn't really want this night once I got a chance to listen, and I definitely, now that I listen to this, but the one thing, if you don't mind, I do this because my whole life has always been everything. And, the one group, coaches are just part of the village, and everybody that's out here, I would tell you this, nobody can thank you enough. I mean, I was going to have Brian say, everybody stand up that had bought a ticket, had coached here, had been part of the program, had done everything. And everybody in this place would stand up. And it would be worth it. But I would tell you the group that I would like to stand up, because the way I went about things, and when Kelsey and I, when we got married, it's one of those things that is 6 months into it, and we're both way type A. And so we made a decision, and well, really, she made the decision. Okay. And that has not changed much in our life, just so that you understand. But she said, during the season, because we're going to kill each other, she said, during the season, you get to be 1A. And then in the off season, I get to be, when we run the foundation and everything, I get to be A, and then you. And so, for basically going on 23 years, that's worth. But if you wouldn't mind, never have we been in a room at an athletic deal to where my 3 sons, Kelsey, her mom and dad, Dean and Irene Hayes, have ever been in, because we had a program, and then one of the sons was on a mission. The next time we could all get together, Josh was over in Iraq fighting a war. And so if you wouldn't mind, this table here, please stand up and get a chance to, because Felicity, please. My son's your wife, she's pregnant, Felicity, so thank you very much. Now, you can tell by the 2 men, Luther King that's sitting there, you should all thank him, because probably 4 times, everybody talks about NIL and portal. Well, every time NIL and portal came up for Gary Patterson, and I think the first time it was like I was here in Minnesota, I think they offered me 6 times more than what to go leave. And Luther goes, I thought you said you like staying close to family. I thought you really loved TCU. I love you, Fort Worth. And I know you want to stay because of your wife and, her family lives here in Fort Worth. I said, yeah, you're right, Luther, all above. And so that went on, obviously, for 24 years, 3 as a coordinator and 21. But I will tell all of you, I am so humbled. We live, 3/4 of a mile from here. I'll always be a frog. I'll die a frog. And I'm going to tell you, I went down and consulted a couple places, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Young people, just so that you all understand, young people have not changed. And I'm serious about this. You have to go find them. You have to give them a different roadmap. At both places, all worked hard. 98% of them. We hear about NIL. We hear about portal. I'm just telling you right now. You have to go reach them. We get to a certain age and they think, well, you're a certain age, you can't understand them. I can tell you probably I understand them better now than I did when I was younger. And, people say, well, no, I said, I just, if I ever go back to coaching, I'm never going to go back as the bad cop. I mean, I couldn't get away from being the bad cop. This guy, never was there a picture taken where I wasn't yelling at somebody. Now I haven't yelled in like 4.5 years. So, and I got dogs telling me they want to go outside. Yeah. And so Kelsey's raising her eyebrows over here. So anyway, but I just wanted to tell all of you thank you. This is a special place. Don't ever let anybody say it. And I'll tell you how I know when you know it's a special place is when people from other universities, other parts of the country, and they tell you, and I, just so I don't get this wrong here, it really meant a lot to me that Jim Slosnakel and Chris Del Conte drove up from Austin. Chris, I really appreciate being part of all that. I know Matt likes being here, but every one of the coaches here, it was always about helping them recruit, helping them do the things they need to do. You can't take your own ball home, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think TCU after all the years is going to change doing any of that.
One thing I've always loved about you is your memory. How many former players have you had go through TCU?
Well, so we were talking about Kelsey was talking about having a tailgate at one of the games, at our house and going over 800 plus. Wow. So think about this going all the way back. And, I was thinking about memories and I was thinking about LT and Shannon Brazil I saw in here, Victor I saw in here. Everybody says, how do you know all their names? And I said, yes, there's some memories, right? But I will tell you, I remember, and so you understand for everybody that's here now, because you look at TCU and you say, well, we have a lot of great things. At that time, we walked out of the back of the building, we walked down the street, we walked through the physical plant over to the soccer fields. That's where we practiced every day, and there was no shuttles taking them. There was 330-pound guys that were practicing for 2.5 hours, and then you were walking. And then pretty soon we got practice fields. Then you were able to get air indoor, and then you had air conditioning, then you had a stadium. I asked and really it was 4, but I say 5 because Bob, and then Mayor Barr, then Mayor Moncrief, then Mayor Price, and now Matty. You were really 5 mayors, 3 chancellors counting. And I know that Victor, thank you so much being in the room tonight. Means a lot to me. But I'd say 3 and then 4 athletic directors. If all of you know in corporations, if you ever have that much changeover at the top, pretty soon, that's just the way it is. You just want to hear somebody else talk. I'm just telling you, my wife said I'm on my 3rd life out of 5. I just want you to know when it comes to the talking part of that. But, 800 guys, it's like, and when I say this, I don't mean money. When they don't get off the payroll. Okay, you're still writing job recommendations. You're still, and that's Richard over here. Think about this: 38 years of turning places down, same places, going back over more and more. He builds a new swimming pool and physical education part of over there, doing all the things you have. That what we were able to accomplish, not even close. I told Brian that there's 4 things that and any of you that stood up there, and so you understand, when I did the first interview, when I took the job at TCU, there's 2 columnists walked in because I didn't do very well, and they said, "You really think you can do this job?" And I said, "You really think I can?" But through the years, in 2004, our first losing season, and the writers said, I told them someday we'll go to a BCS game, and they kind of laughed and they said, "We like your enthusiasm." We went to a BCS game. Then we said, well, someday we're going to build a stadium. We're going to do all this. And the guy that's actually named Shomar Arena, he great man. But we were sitting in a meeting talking about building the stadium and all the money it was going to cost. He said, I love your enthusiasm, but I don't think we'll ever get this done. And so people have been doubting TCU, and they've been doubting Fort Worth forever. But the 4 things I wanted to change once I got into it and was that I wanted to change the path of my family. I wanted to change the path of the student athletes. And what that means is if you being a parent of telling them things they don't want to hear, and how do you get them to change? I wanted to change the path of TCU, and I wanted to change the path of Fort Worth. And really, if you look how I went about it, Kelsey and I, some days I would go home and I say, I don't really like myself that well today, because the things you had to do to make changes, and the people you had to butt heads with to make sure. But I will tell you, like Sloss and Sarlos, I mean, we'll go down the list. Jamie in the back, the coaches that are here, those are memories and people. And I can't even tell you all the people in the Fort Worth community. Basically, they raised me. I knew about vertical routes. I knew about how to stop the power. I had absolutely no idea about how to raise money. You have Dr. Kaler in the back and Leo Munson, of people that when I had to deal with problems with people, how do you deal with people, and how do you end up coming out where you get what you want, but you're going to have to change. And I wasn't really good at change when it comes. If you ever watched me on the field, Kelsey's over here rolling her eyes like, yeah, she's agreeing with that. And so, but the 800, I mean, I'm just telling you, it's I wouldn't change, but I would tell you the three guys that suffered the most was the three sons I have sitting here, because for the simple reason, when you did it the way I did it, something always, it's not 100% both places. I could talk to any coach. If they say it was, then they're just saying it in front of everybody else, because you just can't. I don't care what business you do, what you do, you're not going to be 100%. And what I've been able to do now is, now that I'm not in the middle of things that Matt and I talked about, I don't have to be that. And so I'm to be honest with you, I'm trying to make up for all that and make sure that I can be there. I have 3 grandsons, if you knew that or not. 10, and then were they 6 or 7, the twins? There you go, 6. They're smarter than all of us already, to be honest with you. But yeah, I couldn't be more proud. And I heard Matt say earlier, and I heard Preston. I mean, the best decision I ever made in my life was Kelsey Patterson. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yes. I don't think anyone in this room doubts that you gave 100% every day. It's just hard to imagine that you did it for 20 plus years. And Coach, you were always energetic. You never slowed down. How'd you bring it every day?
Well, you count when you started 42, right?
Yeah.
So 42 years of college. To be honest with you, a guy told me, you want to be average, or you want to be different. And I came from this little town of 125 people, 28 in my graduating class. 26 stayed. They were farmers, they were ranchers, they stayed, and 2 of us left. The other guy is a roving mechanic for the Air Force in South Korea. He's been there almost 40 years, and me. And so, I always make a joke that I started in 4th place. I mean, there's no doubt I outkicked my coverage. Probably, to be honest with you, only about 50% of TCU wanted me to be the head coach when they made me that. You just, if you worry about what everybody else thinks, and you worry about where they think you should be. One of the reasons I became Coach P is because, to be honest with you, people in this world take niceness as weakness, and Gary's a pretty nice guy. Coach P's not, to be honest with you. That's what she says. She loves Gary, but she's not sure about Coach P. And so, at the end of the day, but you don't really, not necessarily did you like all the things that you had to be when you had to be Coach P, because the evaluation. So, like in 2005, we saw defense, Chad and Paul's back there, and LeMoyne and Rusty, all the guys. In 2005, here's how we wanted our defense to look. But nobody wanted to come to TCU. We'd been a head coach for 4 years. And so for us to get a defense that we wanted, we had to go out and recruit outside the box. And so, because they were going to go to LSU or A&M or Texas or Oklahoma. So that year, in 2005, out of the 11 defensive linemen that we had, 8 of them were tailbacks in high school. And they came from 1A, 2A, 3A schools. Even Jerry Hughes, still to this day, when I talk to him, he said, well, you told me I was going to be a tailback. I said, look, you locked in the locker room, and the number on your locker was 98.
You should have known.
You know, and everyone, I told them someday they can have a roast.
Yes.
I said, and we can talk good or bad, but at the end of the day, I get to talk last.
Yes. Is there one moment that stands out to you?
You know, one of the songs I wrote is called The Day I Walk Away, and there's a line in there, the suffocation of the crowd, the heartbeats being now loud. And what that was about was walking on the field at the Rose Bowl and really pulling in the parking lot. When you saw 95,000 people, they hadn't let in, and all it was a river, and they had to move apart for us to pull through, knowing that everybody in the country, it was the first time a non-Pac-10, Big Ten school had played in the Rose Bowl. And, you know, they didn't really give us a chance. And then walking out on the field, I mean, I was a 50-year-old guy. I mean, it's already been a while, right? And walking out of the field, and I mean, my hair was standing up, and I was like, how do I get this team to calm down and go play? Because here I'm the head coach, and this is the way I feel about it. And I'll tell you a great story, you know, about Andy Dalton. So we at the 1st of December when we get done, you know, and we weren't, you know, Reno beats Boise, and so we get into the game, and so, you know, they're cheering, they're getting ready to throw our whole team out of Albuquerque, out of this hotel. But that's not the story, but it kind of leading up to it. So we get back, and we always had this meeting in 1st of December, and we'd lay out the calendar. You know, the coaches were going to go recruiting, and the players were going to go. We never could practice during finals, right? So I laid it all out. In the year before, we had went to the Fiesta Bowl, and we'd gotten beat. And so I lay it out, and I said, we're going to practice in the morning on the 23rd, and then I'll let you guys go home for Christmas. We'll come back, and then, you know, we'll take off and go. And so Andy Dalton holds up his hand, and he said, is that in stone? And I said, no. I mean, what do you want? I thought he was going to want more time, right? And he says to me, he looks me right at, he says, the seniors, we've all talked. He said, the bottom line to it is we've got the rest of our lives to go home to our families for Christmas. We're only going to get one chance to win a Rose Bowl. And if you ever wanted to know when it said that your team they have to take over and they have to own the team, I knew my job as a head coach was done. And so fast forward so we practice, we don't go home, right? And so we go and we get there on the 24th, we get checked in, we had practiced already. And so the 25th is going to be a Tuesday practice when you count back in the week of when you get to game day, right? And so we're out, and I mean, they're getting after it. And so Musburger and Herb Street had been to Wisconsin's practice, and they'd practice in shorts and helmets. And then they came over to our practice, and we got done, and in fact, I called off a good drill, because the way we were going against scouts, I mean, it was like I was worried. And Herb Street goes, I don't think Wisconsin has any idea what they're getting into. And to be honest with you, you have Tank Carter here that you got Jake here that won the Remington, the best center in the country. I mean, all these people, you can't thank, I can't thank enough people. Like I told you, Fort Worth raised me. And in a lot of ways, Kelsey's raised me. And then, you got 3 knuckleheads to go along with the 800 to make it all work. So I've been listening to you, and you said one word. What would one word be? And for me, it would be family.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, because it's not just about TCU to me. We changed. I feel like that we helped change TCU for the better, and I think we helped change Fort Worth for the better. And to be honest with you, the conversation I had with Mayor Moncrief that day, at Yogi's, and I said, how do we do it? Because I don't think that TCU and Fort Worth both can do it by themselves. And that's when we decided that, hey, look, we're going to paint the river purple, and we're going to have Purple Fridays, and this is what we're going to do, and we need to get out in the community more, and we need to do it. And to be honest, you go to a Fiesta Bowl. You know, and here's the thing. I keep saying this, and it's still very true. Athletics is just the front porch of the house. What Victor and all the other chancellors and provosts and everybody that's been part of this great program and this great university, it's taken everybody. It's not any one person thing. And so at the end of the day, you have to be proud and know that you were just part of it. Like I said, I wanted to help change the path of those four things. And I think everybody should have a goal someday besides their own personal goal of, okay, what am I going to do that's going to make a difference, not just in my life? And you listen to him. I mean, I'm listening to Jason Verrett, and I knew him when he was this 155-pound dude, 15 years ago. And then you look up and see how he talks, and he has enough strength and confidence to tell about the hard parts of his life. I mean, that's how I judge people. I judge people when things are not going their way, or they're down, it's not what you want it to be, not when it's going well. And so, I mean, that's my thank you for me, of all the players that I've had and done. Not all of them are happy with me, and to be honest with you, some probably, out of 800, there's probably there's a percentage that it probably doesn't, they probably tell you they don't like me. But at the end of the day, I like them. Because the difference between us as adults is that you have to make sure you understand we had a purpose. When we told their parents, you're coming here, we told them you're going to come here and we're going to get a degree so that you could go be something in your life. And by the way, if you're a good enough player and you can be in that 1%, that you can make a difference in people's lives by going in the NFL. And it says 55 drafted, but I think we had close to, with free agents and everything, about 160 dudes. And you have David Hawthorne sitting in here. He was a guy that was a free agent, played 10 or 11 years. The opportunity to change their life because of the money and all the things, and then the things that they can learn. You can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on, Dick Bumpus was a coach that coached in our, he said there's two things that you get for sure out of college, and maybe not any more than that. He said, number one, you learn how to set goals and achieve them. And the second thing, he says, you learn how to deal with people. And he said, because that's the only way you're going to get a degree, is you're going to have to be able to do both. And it was very true. And so anytime, I will tell you, the quarterback we have right now at TCU, him turning down LI, I mean, perfect. Max Duggan, that we recruited out of Iowa, unbelievable. You watch Bud Clark, which is one of the last guys we have, because how he's grown up, the kind of person he is, got a baby. I mean, you can't put a price on watching kids do the things that sometimes they never thought they would ever do, and to hear their stories when they come back and talk about it. I mean, I know Kelsey and I. That's the best thing that could ever happen to us is to hear that for all those 20-hour days, 7 days a week, that was all worth it. I mean, even for your own sons. And so I just appreciate everybody, committee, getting the opportunity to be a part of this class. Obviously, it's a fantastic class, and to get an opportunity to also know that I was, except for Mr. Norris down there, the way he could run, but to know that I coached here through all those times and was part of their experience. Because to be honest with you, if you're not doing it for the kids, and all the money you have, but you watch the ones that are really good at what they do, they still do it because they love the game and they love the kids. There's not any, and the ones that staying around it for a long time, it's about they love the kids and they love the game. And in both cases, that was true with me, even to a fault, that everybody else had in my life, it had to sacrifice because the way I went about it. And, some days you want to apologize for it, but then you see that our life's better because of all of it. And so, same with you, our relationship for how many years?
Yeah,
I mean,
30
you've been
years.
calling games for 30 years here. So, again, thank all of you. Appreciate it.
Tonight, tonight was an opportunity, Coach, for you to say thank you, obviously, like you said there. But bigger than that, it was an opportunity for all of us to say thank you. For the 181 wins, for the however many great Saturdays you made, but for the greater investment, thank you to Gary Patterson.
Thank you.
And one other thing. Promise this won't be the last time you stand right here with us.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
You bet.
Gary Patterson, ladies and gentlemen. Latest inductee into the Block T Hall of Fame. I'm going to ask all of the inductees, Coach, hang out here, Coach, because I'm going to have all the inductees come up with your sport coat on. Richard, you got to wear the rest of your clothes, too. But have everyone come on up, and I'm going to have them lead us in the alma mater before we get out of here, okay? So everybody come on up here. Whitney, I'll probably give the microphone to you. You got me? Thank you. All right, come on up, guys. Hey. Come on up here. No, don't let you be the singer? Okay. Whitney, is there a microphone right there? Grab that one. Yeah, Verrett can sing too.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Gotta go another song.
Here we go. All right, you ready? We're going to sing it. We're going to play it, and we're going to sing it.
Okay.